Everybody is loving Black Myth Wukong. Interesting story, action-packed gameplay. Now ये सब तो हर AAA गेम टाइटल में होता है. But what's really interesting is कि 4 साल पहले जो अल्ट्रा रियलिस्टिक ट्रेलर दिखाया गया था वो गेम में एक्चुअली है. Which is what this video is all about. How the hell did they pull that off? So let's simplify the tech and science of why Black Myth Wukong looks so hyper realistic. Now starting off with number 1, the effects, the magical effect. So just as you start the game, you see what the vibe is. There are mythical beings 100 times your size and you're in a magical plane और एकदम बादलों में आप लड़ रहे हो. Full God of War vibes. But what's really mind-blowing is that you can see these clouds and fog dynamically change as you move across them. In fact, इसके सारे particle effects बहुत ही beautiful और realistic. And game में आगे भी आपको यही particle effects दिखते जाएंगे. Especially when you use your powers, when somebody dies, मतलब वो Avengers वाला effect है उसमें. But how much you enjoy these games actually depends on what GPU you have and whether your GPU supports RTX. Because the environment detail and realistic shadows is what makes this game so immersive. Now Nanite is a technology in Unreal Engine. This is the real reason behind the ultra sharp details. Even the tiniest of details, like even that bandar's hair and vegetation, are not only clearly visible but also interact with the environment. मतलब जिस direction में हवा चल रही है उस direction में उसका बाल हिल रहा है, which just adds a lot of realism to the game. And you'll find it really hard to find any jagged edges due to Nanite's automatic and ever-changing level of detail. The character interacts with the environment जैसे हम real में करते हैं. Grass moves when you pass by. You have the freedom to break a lot of things, pillars, vegetation, but unfortunately, Nanite is not applied on plants. The first problem in this game is the vegetation sometimes changes its texture, sometimes abruptly, which might make your experience a little awkward. Now moving on to lighting. Now this game has software Lumen versus full RTX, but that's not the only problem. बात करते हैं shadows. Some areas of your frame might go completely dark when they are shadows. So if you don't have RTX GPU, the game will utilize Lumen rendering. It's kind of like software ray tracing. This calculates lifelike reflections or lighting similar to hardware ray tracing, but with much less details compared to actual ray tracing when full RTX is on. And here's why you need a high-end RTX GPU with full RT turned on. Every vegetation plant looks the same with faded colors, but as you turn the RT on, all grasses and trees become highly contrasting and vibrant. Because most of the gameplay and its fight happen either in shadows or areas reflected by beams of light. So I really can't think how this game could be even possible without ray tracing and Lumen. Finally, let's talk about the water. When we look in the water and the reflection without RT, water reflects exactly what's in the frame. But with full RT on, it behaves just like clear water. I mean, just look at this. How water reflection is carried away from the rock with so much detail and the way water ripples. Not only that, water पे जो weird से pattern बनते हैं वो भी है इस game में. Now this is especially very difficult because light acts very weirdly around water compared to regular environments. It bends, it refracts, reflects and makes complete reflections depending on the angle you're seeing it from, which is why water has always been the most difficult to render correctly. इसलिए बहुत सारे गेम से पानी नहीं होता. I mean, in earlier games you couldn't even swim. Now ऐसा नहीं है कि हर चीज गेम में अच्छी है. It has some bad points too, and here's the full list. The game is slightly over sharp. It could be the artistic choice of the game devs, but it was kind of still sharp. For example, you may look into this scene, which clearly a character outline is visible. Similar to that, you can also see that Sun Wukong facial hair and more. Now, motion blur. I mean, motion blur ठीक है, we all love it, but not when it adds flickers and no option to customize it. And the final point obviously is it stutters sometimes, and it happens every time you enter a new area or sometimes just randomly, breaking the flow and the smoothness of the gameplay. Hopefully this might be addressed in a future update. We also need to note that this game has launched only some time ago, 20th August to be exact, and given the way this game is already optimized, it's really not a long time since developers would fix this. So if you're looking for the best experience for Black Myth Wukong, you need to have a high-end CPU and a GPU, and secondly, you'll also need to have a good variable refresh rate monitor or a high refresh monitor to make sure that a GPU and monitor give you the best possible experience. Now, despite DLSS 3 or frame generation increasing FPS in other games, Black Myth Wukong tends to have more spikes and drops when turned on. And to give you an idea of how demanding this game is, you can look at our test bench with Ryzen 7 7800X 3D paired with a 4090 producing just 40 FPS with DLSS 40% on 4K resolution. But overall, this game is a breath of fresh air in recent launch of AAA titles. It really took an entire new country to fix the issue with high-end PC games, which makes me wonder, will India ever be able to make a AAA game that can compete on a global scale? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're looking for a way to get the game for free or play the game on really amazing hardware, because if you buy a PC with RTX 40 series GPU, and if you are a developer to build exact next game for Epic Games, we have rendering engines for you as well. हमारे 4 स्टोर हैं हैदराबाद, बैंगलोर, गुड़गांव और मुंबई में. अगर आप उन 4 शहरों में नहीं रहते हो, हम लोग बचपन से नेशनल शिपिंग कर रहे हैं. थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग.